First of all, you really have to work really hard. No? If you want to succeed in business, you have to be passionate about the business.
Hello there, I'm Sam Sadhwani, and this is Speaking of Money, a GoTyme Bank podcast where we have beautiful conversations with the brilliant minds of today. Now we're joined by a familiar face in the business world. He's a titan of multiple industries, a visionary leader, and a name synonymous with success in the Philippines today. His leadership has shaped industries and set new standards for excellence. And we're very lucky to have him with us here today. Let's welcome Mr. Lance Gokongwei. Thank you so much for being with us, Mr. Lance.
Hey, call me Lance, and thank you, Sam, for having me.
Thank you so much, Lance. Now, let's begin. You're the president and CEO of JG Summit Holdings, and I'm sure you wear so many other hats on a day-to-day basis. What does a typical day look like for Lance Gokongwei?
I'm not sure if there's a typical day, but I think definitely on work days, Mondays to Fridays, we generally get up early, get to work around 8. And then the day is filled with assorted meetings, returning phone calls, looking at presentations. I try to spend at least 1 or 2 days a week going on field, visiting stores or visiting branches or visiting sites or meeting with customers. I think I picked that up from my father, who always made sure that even when he was 85 or 90 years old.
Wow.
On weekends, he would always he would just surprise people when he'd visit various outlets or sites of ours. He never lost touch of our customers and our employees, and I think that's important, especially as you move up the totem sort of the totem pole or the corporate hierarchy. I try to knock off by 6:30, and then
that's good.
If I don't have a business dinner, which happens a couple of times a week, I try to spend it at home. No?
Do you believe in work-life balance?
Of course, but it doesn't believe in me. Yeah,
I can imagine how busy you are. But before you were president and CEO, before there was Lance Gokongwei, the president and CEO, there was young Lance Gokongwei. What was his relationship with money and finance? Was there a persistent money culture in your household, do you think?
There definitely was a business culture. My dad was a businessman. And my mom was very supportive of my father. She knew that it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of grit to grow a business from scratch.
From the ground up, I can imagine.
From the ground up, and I think our dinner conversations were filled with business. And even when we had the broader family together with our uncles and aunties and cousins, the conversation inevitably would go back to not necessarily business, but with titas who were actually people who worked for us in the company as
wow.
well. No? So I guess there's no differentiation anymore between the business and your personal life, right? So I guess we got used to that.
I would have loved to have gotten a seat at the dinner table to hear all the business talk. So as a student, when you would go to school, were you given a weekly allowance, or were you a bring your own baon kind of student?
I don't recall getting baon until I was in I don't recall getting an allowance until I was in high school. No?
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, but we did get baon, meaning
yes, you would bring food.
We'd bring those. I don't know kung uso pa yan. We'd bring this big stackable tray with food, right? But in high school, definitely, I did get an allowance, and at that time, you'd go out on Saturdays, and you'd have some money.
And that's where you would spend your money. Would
mostly
you say
playing video games?
Mostly playing video games.
At that time, the video games weren't in your phone. No, you had to go to an arcade to play video games. Right?
I remember.
That's right.
Back then, would you say you were already a saver, or you would spend on video games still?
I was fundamentally a saver because I remember when I was younger, my parents already got me a passbook, right?
Yes,
and
yes.
Uso pa at that time, wala pang e-wallets or GoTyme or the like. We had actual piggy banks, and me and my sisters would have piggy banks, and one of our aspirations was to fill our piggy banks. But at that time, coins were worth something, no? So people actually used coins, no?
Yeah, and we would bring all the coins back to the
Correct.
bank
Once
to
you fill
count.
the piggy
Right.
bank, then you bring it to the bank, and then you probably get to a round number, and you can deposit it. Right?
Yes, exactly.
And then you see the imprint on your passbook.
So you were already a saver back then, you would
Yeah,
say.
I was taught to save. Yeah.
And oftentimes, though, our relationship with money and finance changes when we start to earn our own money.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what were your money habits when you first started working? Were you a saver, or was there a point in your early adult life you would like to splurge?
No, I've always been a saver. It's probably only in my older age, 30s, 40s, when I
You would splurge.
splurge, and maybe that came from having kids, no? Yeah.
So you would splurge for your kids.
When you get to a certain age, you have, and maybe I have a certain income already and certain level of savings. Then I value time more than and convenience more than money, and maybe my childhood habits took a long time to get over. Now where I was looking after every penny and very very careful of where I spent my money.
Right. So fast forward to today, you said you value time a bit more now. How do you think your relationship with money has changed from when you were a kid and starting out your business to now?
Price is what you pay and value is what you get, no? And I'm really looking for value, and I guess value is relative to everyone, and for me,
Right.
the value is really coming from the experience, the enjoyment that me and my loved ones would derive from any experience or expenditure that we would make, no? And someone pressed for time like me, I do value really convenience. And
So as a businessman, would you say you relate more to someone like Tony Stark or Elon Musk, or are you closer to someone like Bill Gates?
I would say probably more like a Warren Buffett.
A Warren
type.
Buffett?
Yeah.
Can you explain why?
Well, Elon Musk is really a legend for really being innovative,
Innovation, yeah.
and I guess Bill Gates also for innovation and really being thoughtful about global issues. I think I really like Warren Buffett because he's really a excellent investor. He runs sort of like a holding company like what I do, and then he keeps things folksy and down to earth, and those are qualities that I like.
He is down to earth. If I remember correctly, he eats McDonald's like on a daily basis or something.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of my diet. Yeah,
Yeah, I think he has Coca-Cola every day,
yeah,
Warren Buffett.
I think he has like 6 cherry cokes a day.
But whatever type of businessman you are, when it comes to business, there's always adversity. I'm sure you know. What were some of the biggest challenges you would say you faced while building your company, and how did you overcome them?
I've faced many adversities in life and particularly at work. Especially as when you try to innovate and build a business such as Cebu Pacific, which is
I'm sure.
a service-oriented business, but we operate in a very difficult operating environment in the Philippines now with
first of its kind as
infrastructure
well.
here, and we're trying to offer affordable fares to all our kababayan, and in that kind of business, it really you're always in the public eye. You have many considerations. We had situations like COVID where we can't fly for a couple of years, and at the same time you have a lot of investments in assets, a lot of loans, and more importantly, I have a lot of employees working for me who are
Right.
reliant on having their incomes reliant on the business. So I guess that kind of adversity just teaches you to really have a broader stakeholder map when you think of approach your business. No, you have to look at it from realize that any business has multiple stakeholders. It's not only the shareholders, it's not only the customers, but you also have to think of the employees, the community, and
Right.
the like whenever you make decisions.
I mean, that's a lot of Filipinos riding on the company.
That's right.
What would you say are the key leadership principles you follow that you think have been instrumental in driving your success and having these Filipinos rely on you as well?
I think we go back to we have a company purpose, which is an unrelenting commitment to providing better choices for our customers and always creating shared success for all our stakeholders. So the key concept there is we really try to be innovative, we believe in innovation and making meaningful breakthroughs. And I would say, for instance, Cebu Pacific as building a low-cost carrier, or being the first in the market with a green tea like C2.
Right.
And at that time, when we rolled out Sun Cellular, we were the first to come out with unlimited talk and text.
Yes.
So these are innovations which I think improve the lives of
Filipinos.
or ordinary Filipinos,
Right.
and we hope to do the same again with GoTyme
Yes.
Bank. Just a plug there, but hope not too obvious.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So, speaking of innovation, how do you balance taking calculated risks, but also ensuring the stable growth of your business?
I think it really depends on your stage in life. I've always been lucky that my father was already, when I joined the business, our business was fairly substantial. So we always had some capital. And he always taught me that, first of all, you really have to work really hard. No? If you want to succeed in business, you have to be passionate about the business. From a young age, we're taught if you don't work, you don't eat. No? So there's no entitlement mentality with us. But second is he also taught us to value our reputation. So he, in a sense, he sought to be innovative, but he was also very careful about his brand, his own reputation, and also treating people with respect. I think he also said don't put all your eggs in one basket. But I can imagine if I'm starting up, and he always told me the first million he earned was the hardest to earn. At that point, I think if you are starting up, I think you have no choice but to go all in. Now you can't afford to be.
Right.
You just have to put your whole heart and passion
Risky.
into something, right? Not everyone can take being an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
So I think
You have to be strong.
you have to be strong. You have to have the conviction, but you also have to think things through. No, not everyone is built to take that kind of risk, because I think earning your initial capital is extremely difficult.
I can imagine. Do you have an investment philosophy?
I have an investment philosophy, which I copied from my idol Warren Buffett, which is rule number 1 is don't lose money, and rule number 2
Very
is go
simple and
to rule
clear.
number 1. So I haven't always followed it, but I think as I get older, it's a good rule. No, I mean, you just have to trust compound interest to end time. So if you can beat inflation over time, and just let your money or savings compound, I think you'll be okay. No, the worst thing to do is to invest money in unfamiliar things and lose your capital.
So very simple and straight to the point. Don't lose money. Going back to what you said a while ago, that your dad very much valued reputation, and so do you. You've earned so much of your success that your stature does come with a lot of admiration, but it also comes with criticism, as with anyone. What do you think are the biggest misconceptions about you?
I'm not sure. Maybe I don't spend too much time thinking about what other
people think.
I try to do what my value system tells me to do, and really just do the best we can for our company and our stakeholders.
That's a great philosophy to live by, and with all the noise, it's a great way to block out the noise.
Yeah, I mean, we're all human, we're all sensitive, so I guess sometimes you just have to
grin and bear it.
Or don't look at social media too much.
Yeah, true. So if you were to choose one thing you've accomplished as a businessman that you're most proud of, what would it be?
I think for me, it's really building a professional organization at our group, the Gokongwei Group, and really trying to build a company that has a sense of shared purpose and values, and hopefully something that my father, my uncles passed this on, the leadership mantle to me, that I'll be able to also pass it on to owners and shareholders and stakeholders who care about the company the same way that I do.
So I can't leave this podcast without asking for advice for young entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So what are the top 3 things or principles about money that you think the youth should follow?
I don't think we should say money is important, not only for what it enables you to do, but fundamentally it's what it enables you to it gives you personal freedom to do the things you want, and it also enables you to help people you care for. No, so I think it's shouldn't be ashamed to say I want to save money, and I want to invest my money, and I want to grow my money, because it's I think it's important and essential, and I think of course living within your means is important. If we're working, it's also important to start thinking about how do I build savings, how do I build increasing opportunities for passive income, or what they call second incomes.
Speaking of second income, what business advice would you give to young entrepreneurs who are starting out or aspiring to build their own empires?
I think for entrepreneurs, I guess it's a mindset. It's not for everyone. As I said, if you have very little capital,
right,
if you could lose everything. So you have to go in with the approach that you're going all in into it,
you would
right?
say.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, you have to put in the hours. It's not, and business is really, I believe, create value creation is really from reciprocity, from people coming back to do more and more business with you because they like your services, or they trust that you're going to deliver on your commitments. So all the businesses I know that, and the people I respect in terms of business are really in the habit of building repeat
customers.
Business. Yeah.
Right. What do you think is one of the greatest lessons you learned from your dad?
I learned many lessons from my dad. Maybe if you allow me to say one or two. I mean, the most basic is if you don't work, you don't eat. So meaning you have to have that work ethic. You have to have that grit. You have to avoid that entitlement mentality. I learned that from both my parents, in fact. Second is my father always made a distinction between his personal assets and his business assets. No, so like for instance, when we fly on personal trips, even on Cebu Pacific, we pay for it because you have to make that distinction
between business assets
and personal assets.
We have a little game because we want to get to know you a bit more. It's called This or That.
Okay.
So we'll give you two options and you choose the first thing that comes to your mind.
All right.
Okay. So we have high risk, high reward, or low risk, low reward.
Low risk, high reward. But there's no such thing, right?
Right, exactly.
So if they're offering you low risk with high reward, that's a scam. Again, I believe in compounding of savings. So low risk, low reward. Yeah.
Spend money on experiences or spend money on material possessions?
Experiences.
Yes, I think you explained this a while ago already.
Yeah.
Fly to Europe or fly to the United States?
Flying anywhere with friends and family. Right?
Oh, that's a nice answer. V-cut or piatos?
V-cut. I've always been a V-cut.
Yeah. I think
spicy
most of
barbecue.
us are over here V-cut fans.
I like piatos, especially the some of the new flavors, but I've always been a V-cut because I like the spicy barbecue.
See the future or change the past?
Wow. I think all the mistakes of the past and all the experiences make me the person I am. Maybe with all that experience and knowledge and reflection. So maybe see the future na lang.
See the future.
Yeah.
And before we go, we always ask our guests, what is your one-liner money motto that you believe everyone should live by?
Maybe I'll go to what Winston Churchill said, no? We make a living from what we get, and we make a life from what we give. Yeah.
Can you explain it to us? What do you get out of that quote?
Money is a measure. It gives you freedom. It gives you choices. But ultimately, I guess your success in life is really how you can use that money to help other people, especially people you care for.
Thank you so much, Lance, for joining us today. And thank you, everyone, for joining us here at Speaking of Money. Tune in again next time for more beautiful conversations and inspiring insights with the successful people of today. To never miss an episode, click subscribe and hit that notification bell. Until next time.